How many books have you read in the past 12 months? 10? 5? Less than 5? Yeah, I know how that feels. And if you can relate, we're going to do something about it today. Hey there, welcome to the channel. I'm Paolo, I'm a writer and creator of the Better Failures newsletter, where the goal is to help you turn failures into successes in progress, one action at a time. And I love reading books. Not just to look smart, although some people only care about that, but because although I am all for learning from your failures, there's just not enough time in life for you to make every mistake by yourself. And books are great not just because they improve your vocabulary, your communication, and your creativity, but especially because they can compress years and decades of experience into just a few hours. That's a huge bargain, if you ask me. Okay, but how do you actually find the time for reading when life is busy? Because I know what you're thinking. Paolo, I am so busy that I don't even have time for lunch. How am I supposed to find the time to read? And I get it. I used to say the same thing. But here's the truth. You don't find time. You make time. If you think that reading is important, which it is, then you have to make time for it, like for eating and for sleeping. Otherwise, it might as well never happen. Which is why you can end up reading just 5, 3 or 0 books in a whole year. That's why my first tip for you is to create a window of time dedicated exclusively to reading. Either you read or you sit there and do nothing. This accomplishes two things. One, it helps you train your attention against distractions. And two, it helps you build a reading habit by actually making time for it instead of waiting for time to magically appear out of nowhere. Just start with 20 minutes, either in the early morning or in the evening before bed. The less variables that might get in your way, the more likely you're gonna do it. Another thing I recommend is to avoid quitting books too quickly. I know everyone says life is too short, don't waste it on boring books. And it's not that I disagree. It's just that if you haven't built a reading habit yet, that advice is not going to help you. What you need the most right now is to build reading stamina first. If you quit books quickly as soon as you get bored, which happens often when you're still a beginner, you're only going to make your attention span even shorter, which then influences everything in life and makes you impatient at your work, your relationships, and your goals. Two things to help you avoid quitting books too quickly. Pick books in genres you already like, fantasy, mystery, whatever. Maybe think on what TV series or films you like to watch and pick a book in the same genre. Start with the shorter books. This way, even if they are not amazing, you can just finish them quickly without breaking your reading streak and running the risk of never picking another book again for a whole year. Short story collections are pretty good for this purpose because they can feel like you're reading multiple books, so you don't get bored too easily at first. Finally, if you want to read more books, make it stupid easy. Put books everywhere, on your desk, on your nightstand, in the kitchen, and carry one with you at all times. One of the reasons I love reading on my Kindle is that it allows me to read everywhere, whether it's on the bus, in line at the post office, or in the waiting room at the dentist's. Trust me, even small pockets of time, even 5 minutes, can add up really quickly. And audiobooks are an even more convenient solution. You can literally listen to them anywhere. What I don't recommend though is reading on your smartphone. Not just because it's more tiring for your eyes, but because the risk of getting distracted is just too high. And if you have watched my video on how much time we waste, you know that those quick glances at your smartphone can add up quickly to months, entire months of wasted time in a year. Enjoy the process, not the page count. This video is about reading more books, but don't obsess over hitting 50 or 100 books in a year, because the goal is just to spend more time reading, not stressing about numbers on Goodreads. Otherwise, reading will just become a chore and you'll stop enjoying it. And you might even rush through books just so that you can say you have read X amount of books. You need to read for your own enjoyment, your own growth, and for learning from other people's mistakes. That's it. This means reading both non-fiction and fiction, because fiction can teach you things too. In fact, many of my biggest life lessons, I learned them from novels and fictional characters. Right now I'm reading The Hobbit for the first time. I know, where have I been living all this time? But anyway, it's really great. So, what book are you reading now? Or what book are you going to start reading after this video? Let me know in the comments. And now, if you'll excuse me, Bilbo Baggins is waiting for me.